Kamala Harris is not having a good day, or at least she wasn't the other day. Now, she was here in Boston to help campaign for Maura Healey. Maura Healey wants to be governor here of Massachusetts. I'm not a fan of Maura Healey, and I'm not a fan of her opponent, Jeff Deal. Jeff Deal is a Trump-backed Republican. He actually ran against Elizabeth Warren for Senate. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but that's who she ran against her last election. Obviously, he lost, but I'm not a fan of him. And I'm also not a fan of Maura Healey. Maura Healey is very corporate. So she is basically doing this tour. There's a bunch of them doing this. Joe Biden is doing this. Kamala Harris, Obama, Bernie Sanders. They're all hitting the road to help Democrats win in the midterm. And it's not just, you know, people that are running for Congress or people that are running for congressmen or congresswomen or people that are running as Senate races. They're also coming out to campaign for people who are running in these gubernatorial races. So they're going all over the country here. And Kamala Harris is no different. She's doing it too. So she showed up here in Boston to help campaign for Maura Healey. And she was met by protesters. Now, the protesters in this video, they are from two organizations. One of them is UAWM, and the other organization is UFAD. So you've seen UFAD on here before. I work with the Boston chapter here, United Front Against Displacement. The other organization is United Against War and Militarism. So they're both anti-war groups. And the housing situation is primarily more so UFAD's thing, but they go to a lot of anti-war and anti-imperialist protests as well. So they took this opportunity to ask Kamala Harris a question. Let's check it out. So it says here, breaking, United Against War and Militarism and United Front Against Displacement led joint disruptions of Kamala Harris midterm rally in Boston tonight to bring attention to the government's imminent invasion of Haiti and dismantling of public housing. So let's see how this went for Kamala and Maura Healey.
Hey, Kamala! Tell us about your plans to invade Haiti. Tell us about the U.S.'s plans to invade Haiti. They're looking to invade Haiti to rape and kill thousands of people. Again, just like they have in the other U.S. invasions and other UN invasions. Tell us about why so many migrants are in the U.S. It's because of all of the U.S.-sponsored sweatshops and the death of treason.
You're trying to find the root cause of immigration, but you've done nothing for that. The U.S. has plundered and destroyed countries all over the world, and your administration is complicit in that. You're trying to do that in Haiti, you're going to do it in all countries all over the world. Shame on you! Shame on you for doing that! Shame on you!
Stop dismantling public housing! Your constituents are living in squalor, being forced out of their neighborhoods for one-free condos. You say there's no money to keep public housing public, but you're spending billions of dollars spying on the population, spreading war around the world. It's disgusting! You're a liar! You lie for a living!
Now let's go back here for just a second. By the way, they're all they're young. These are young people. I told you the younger people come out. But I want you to pay attention to something. Well, let me let this finish, and then there's something I want to show you about the room.
Stop protecting you for the people! You're just a tool of the banks! Everybody who's not in this building knows it!
Okay, so I'll point out who's who to you.
Hey, Kamala! Tell us about your plans to invade Haiti. Tell us about the U.S.'s plans to invade Haiti.
So this is Maya. You may have seen her on here before. She was with me when I went to Grant Manor to talk about the conditions of one of the housing projects here in Boston. So that was one of the events, one of the things that I did on the ground. And then I'll let it continue here and I'll show you something else. I want you to pay attention to the number of people in this room. Kamala Harris is here to campaign for Maura Healey, and they couldn't even fill the room. Do you see how the motivation for the Democratic Party has died? When Kamala Harris came to New Hampshire, the line was so damn long, it was wrapped around blocks. So everyone couldn't even get into the town hall building to see her. Here's Kamala Harris, who is now vice president, and they can't fill a room. Let's go on.
They're looking to invade Haiti, to rape and kill thousands of people, again, just like they have in the other U.S. invasions and other UN invasions. Tell us about why so many migrants are in the U.S. It's because of all of the U.S. sponsored sweatshops.
So what she's saying here is, tell us about the U.S. plan to invade Haiti. I'm going to get into that in just a couple of minutes, but also explain to people why there's so many migrants coming to the U.S. because of what the U.S. government has done to people in countries like Haiti. And like I said, look, you can see the space here. They couldn't even fill the room. You couldn't fill the room with the vice president. This is how little people care, you guys. This is what I was trying to tell you. The turnout is not the same. Not the same.
You're trying to find the root cause of immigration, but you've done nothing for that. The U.S. has plundered and destroyed countries all over the world, and your administration is complicit in that. You're trying.
So he's talking about Kamala's failure with immigration. And remember, that is her task. She was assigned to that specific issue to handle the immigration issue, which she has not done.
Do that in Haiti, you're going to do it in all countries all over the world. Shame on you! Shame on you for doing that! Shame on you!
Stop dismantling public housing! Your constituents are living in squalor!
So he said, stop dismantling public housing. Why is that important? Maura Healey, just like our mayor, Michelle Wu, they are in the back pocket of real estate investors. Maura Healey isn't going to do anything different. She's going to come in and still allow these developers to come in and buy up these housing project buildings. Well, they'll let them fall apart first. They won't actually fix them. To buy up these buildings and allow them to build more luxury apartments. And I got to be very clear here. This statement or these speeches that these candidates have when they say they're going to build more affordable housing, that is a lie. I've heard it from every Democrat candidate that is running this state. They don't do it. What they consider to be affordable housing, the average working class person in Boston cannot even afford to rent. So we talked about this with UFAD, I think it was a week or two ago, where we talked about the gentrification issue in Boston, how they will basically determine if a building is affordable housing based on the area median income. That area median income includes parts of New Hampshire. It includes suburban communities outside of Boston. So obviously, a lot of the people living in the suburbs that own homes are making more than working class people who are still living in Boston. And there aren't that many of them left because they've been pushed out. So you're not getting an accurate number. So you can have an apartment that's $4,000 a month and it's still listed as affordable housing because of the area median income. This is important for people to understand. Affordable housing does not necessarily mean affordable. And Maura Healey is complicit with this as well. Like I said, she's in the back pocket of real estate investors and developers, and it's not going to improve under her either. Kamala and Maura Healey, they're both corporate. Maura Healey's opponent, Jeff Deal, is also corporate. This is why nothing improves for the working class people here. I can't speak to every other state. I can only speak to the state I live in. And this is what I have seen time and time again. I want you to pay close attention to the people right here in the front. Now, these are Black residents. Look at how they respond when he says, stop dismantling public housing. Listen to this.
Dismantling public housing. Your constituents are living in squalor, being forced out of their neighborhoods for one-click condo.
Right there. All three of them. Now, he's telling them that their constituents are living in squalor. It's predominantly the Black neighborhoods where this is happening. And who turns around to yell at the guy complaining about the gentrification, complaining about them letting public housing fall apart? Who turns around to yell at him? Black people. When it's Black neighborhoods that are falling apart because people like Maura Healey are allowing those investors to come in and they're allowing the public housing buildings to fall apart. And instead of them turning around and yelling at Maura Healey and saying, how dare you do that to our neighborhoods, they turn around and yell at the protester who's pointing that shit out. This is what is wrong with this country. A lot of people are incredibly brainwashed. They really believe that by electing these politicians, they're going to improve the African-American neighborhoods. They're going to make things better for Black people. They don't. And it really hurts when I see like my own damn people turn around and yell at this truth statement here, which is causing Black people to be pushed out of Boston. But they don't care though. You know why? They just want to be up there to see Kamala. You know, Nick was right when he said that American people are incredibly propagandized.
You say there's no money to keep public housing public, but you're spending billions of dollars spying on the population, spreading war around the world. It's disgusting. You're a liar. You lie for a living.
And all the people there, they don't want to hear the truth. You know why? They just want to say that they saw Kamala Harris. You know, they want to fangirl. They want to take pictures of Kamala. They want to be able to go back and tell their friends, oh my God, I met Kamala Harris. This is the danger of making politicians celebrities. They literally can come up to you and punch you in the damn face. And the protester can point it out to you that they punched you in the face. And you'll get mad at the protester for bringing it to your attention. That's how bad it is. Now it goes on. See if I can get out a full screen here. So they go on and he makes them leave, of course.
Where's the free speech area?
So he said he was taking them to the free speech area. Watch this asshole. This is such an ass.
Free speech area? Where's the free speech area?
The police will show you. It's got a free speech area out there.
Yes.
Is UD here for it?
For what? Free speech area?
Yeah.
No, but it's basically right off Congo.
Wow, a free speech area just for me.
That's correct.
That's incredible. Okay, so this is the free speech area. Just to be clear, they said we had to leave so we can have a free speech. This is the area for the free speech. This is the free speech area.
So basically the free speech area was outside. Now I want to show you something else because they actually issued a statement. Please read our public statement with UFAD and the protests yesterday, our treatment by the police and the Secret Service, and the issues involved. The looming UN invasion of Haiti, the dismantling of public housing, and Healy/Driscoll's plan to loot Massachusetts. If you guys live here in Massachusetts, you need to hear this. So here's the statement. I'm gonna have to make this larger for myself, actually. Oh dear, I can't make that larger. Okay, I'm gonna have to use my eyes. Actually, it'll be easier if no, it won't actually. It's just going to be hard to see this because it's so tiny, but I can do it. Okay, this is the part I want to talk about here. The rally was typical of the rotten political system in the United States. By the way, now let me start at the top. On Wednesday, the United Against War and Militarism and the United Front Against Displacement led joint disruptions of Kamala Harris midterm rally in Roxbury. So again, for those who are not aware, Roxbury is a predominantly African-American neighborhood in Boston. So just keep that in mind. Goes on to say, our goal was to create a visible opposition to the U.S. proposed invasion of Haiti, as well as the federal and local plans to dismantle and privatize public housing, which Maura Healey and Kim Driscoll fully support. The rally was typical of the rotten political system in the U.S. It was full of empty self-congratulations, frantic exhortations to vote for candidates who are either guaranteed victory or don't even have opponents, and zero discussion of the issues people are facing. So it's no surprise that any attempt by protesters to exercise basic speech rights and raise these issues were treated as an emergency. One interjector was dumped by the Secret Service into a free speech zone and into a patch of concrete behind the building and out of earshot of the rally. Another was taken into a room by police, photographed, interrogated, and threatened with arrest. The treatment is telling of the increasing push by the U.S. elite to treat any form of political dissent as criminal activity on the verge of domestic terrorism. You guys have got to pay close attention to that, because what they're trying to do now, when you watch the talking points on mainstream media, they're trying to make it seem like protests are necessarily are automatically violent, and that's not true. People have the right to say what they need to say. Now, it goes on to say, on the situation in Haiti, the U.S. and Mexico are currently trying to push through a resolution in the UN to launch a multinational invasion force and occupation in Haiti. Now, I talked about this with Dan Cohen, I think a week or two ago. The reason is chalked up to gang violence, but in reality, U.S. elites are concerned about the mass protests that have been building over skyrocketing inflation and the elimination of gas subsidies by Haiti's puppet government. Although this administration claims they care about the Haitian people, their own actions show this is a lie. They have deported tens of thousands of Haitians who have come to the U.S. to seek asylum, forcing them back into situations where their lives are in danger, and are only accelerating these deportations as we speak. The U.S. has occupied the Haitian nation many times in the past, and every time these occupations have only worsened the situation of the people, leading to mass murder, widespread rape, and child sex trafficking. Here in the U.S., we must do everything in our power to prevent another invasion and support the struggle of the Haitian people to buck the yoke of imperialism. Where's the lie? Now it goes on about the housing situation. On the housing situation, throughout Boston and across the country, low-income neighborhoods are facing gentrification, and public housing developments are being replaced with luxury apartments and Section 8 units. This is being justified by the defunding of public housing at the federal level and the severe neglected by local property managers. These privatizations are not done. We go to the next with the well-being of the tenants in mind, but to justify enlisting the aid of private developers to revitalize the area. This results in the forced relocations of the longtime residents of these neighborhoods, as the landlords will be more inclined to accept wealthier renters for the units. Under the Healey-Driscoll administration in Massachusetts, we can be sure that the current trends of defunding and privatizing public services will only continue and worsen without organized resistance. Driscoll is deep in the pocket of real estate developers, and the two of them have promised to demolish every barrier to the unfettered construction of unaffordable housing. This includes the creation of a special state committee to sell off public land to real estate developers, a proposal for a taxpayer-funded propaganda campaign to spread the lie that the housing crisis is primarily a supply problem, and extremely vague commitments to affordable housing that uses code words for financialization and privatization. Healy has also even floated privatizing Boston Public's transit before removing this from her site. Whether at home or abroad, our organizations will stand for the struggle of the oppressed people and expose the lies of the politicians on the left and on the right. And in reference to the supply problem, in reference to housing, that's total BS, because what they're not telling people is that when the pandemic started, a lot of people left. See, this is what they don't want people to really know. Do you know, I used to have the number, I have to find it. The number of vacant units, people who broke their leases, people who fled this mofo during the pandemic. Boston looked like a ghost town. If you didn't live here, you don't know. But it looked like a ghost town, and we were on lockdown. People left. So for them to say we don't have enough housing, we don't have the supply, that's a lie. The landlords were on local news saying they couldn't even fill a building. So there you go. So shout out to those protesters. Shout out to UFAD. They're always doing the damn thing. But we got to keep it up. You have to call them out on this. You got to call them out on it. Gamer said we need more of this. Absolutely. Bad fella. So proud of these people disrupting these politicians. I'm telling you, it's a lot of the young people. They're the ones. Bad cookies. It looks like they're starting to prepare for protesters now. Saul, Maya is awesome. Yes, she is. Joe, my heart smiles as I watch today's youth empower themselves as well as each other. I agree. Danny, Muriel Bowser pulled the same scam in Washington, D.C., affordable housing. That's right. Marvin, donors, developers, bankers, big pharma, APAC, war complex, etc., own the government. You see, this is why you have to get big money out of politics. Cool Blue, thanks for the super chat. Perhaps protesters should continue. Get arrested. That's a good point. Elvin Brown, when Willie Brown was mayor of San Francisco, he tore down the Geneva Towers, a low-income housing project, to a private developer. Wasn't that Kamala's friend? Thanks for the super chat, Cool Blue. Follow up to prior comment. More people need to protest like this. Willingness to get arrested. People who do not stand up are willing to get crushed. That's a good point. All right.